Michael, could you tell us about your role at S&P Global and how you got into ESG investing?
Pleasure to be here. And my role at S&P Global is to lead the ESG business in Asia Pacific as part of the Sustainable One team that's newly developed at S&P Global that sits across all the divisions: index ratings, Platts, and market intelligence, data and analytics. And I see it as the glue, the ESG glue that brings together all of those solutions in terms of providing a sustainability option and outcomes for our clients.
So, Michael, what key trends are you seeing in ESG today?
The key trend in ESG today is the momentum, the momentum behind the adoption of ESG investing overall. And I think this has come from the reality that ESG is impacting how we live our lives as consumers, the future that we have, and having that future, providing a future for our children in a way that we live today, and that companies and governments play a major role in that, and that as consumers and investors, we can contribute to a better world. There's a very strong focus on climate change, and we've seen that the focus on climate change is coming because of the real impacts that are happening to our lives. So it's very visible, the impacts from climate change, the hazards that are affecting our lives, and these hazards affect companies as well. And so through changing our behavior, through transitioning to a low carbon future, we have the opportunity to reduce the impacts of climate change and create a better world. Definitely one of the big changes that we're seeing, and it really does cover more than just physical hazards on assets. It's affecting people and their lives and local communities. So it is a social issue as well. And that's why I think that if we see the trend that's being followed mostly at the moment, it really is a climate change focus.
And Michael, what advice do you have for ESG-focused investors?
ESG-focused investors today have a wealth of information to look at, which is far more than they had even 2 years ago. Overall, there's two aspects to the way investors consume ESG data. One is that ESG data is providing insights into risks into your investments, and these risks are being shown. There's evidence that these risks are real: environmental impacts on companies, social license to operate, and as well as identifying risks, identifying opportunities. Opportunities in renewable energy is one of the areas that has a strong focus at the moment during the energy transition. These can be viewed and are similar to the same risks and opportunities that companies have been analysed by investors for years. So in that respect, ESG data is just providing a greater wealth of information to better know the companies you're investing in. And the other aspects of ESG investing is through the values of the investor. So this is where you're able to provide a view on what you feel you want your money to capitalize, and whether that's a particular area of ethical investing, like avoiding alcohol, gaming activities, or tobacco, or weapons as popular ones, or whether your concerns are more around fossil fuel exposure and minimizing that exposure as we transition to a low carbon economy. I think what's really important for investors is everyone in Australia at least has a superannuation. So use that voice that you have through your superannuation to encourage your super funds to continue the good work that a lot of the super funds are doing in the ESG space, because they're able to engage companies through the weight of the capital, the accumulated capital that they have, and we've seen that as a positive over recent years. I'd finish that, Leld, with just a thought. I'd say, be bold. Be bold in your ambitions around focusing on sustainable outcomes, because I feel that together, we do have the ability to transition global economies to become more sustainable, more equitable, and more SDG aligned.